Okay, today we are going to go over the CC1 831 review and preview. We're going to start with problem number 91. The ice cream consumption in several countries is given in the table at the right. How many countries are represented? Okay, so I'm just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There are 14 countries. Part B, create and display the data in a histogram. Make the bins 4 liters per person wide, so 0 to 4, 4 to 8, etc. So I actually have to tilt my paper this way to draw my lines. So I have my histogram. I have to make, so I have to have my X and Y axis. My bins are like 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 20, 20 to 24. I think that's as high as I have to go. Okay. My x-axis is my liters per person. And my y-axis is always my frequency. Okay. And then, of course, I have to draw like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for all the numbers that are between 0 and 4, not including the number 4. So I have 1, 2, 3 of them. So my histogram from 0 to 4 is 3 tall. Okay, so I can do 4 to 8. So I have 1, 2. Okay. 8 to 12. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 5. That's about right here. 3, 2, 5. Okay, 12 to 16. 1, 1. And then 16 to 20. 1, 2. I only put the numbers in there so you can see how tall it is because it's hard to read. Typically, you don't have the numbers in the middle. And then from 20 to 24, I should have 1. Okay. Describe the shape of the distribution. Well, this is single peaked. And I would say this is pretty close to being symmetrical. Okay, it's a little not perfectly symmetrical, but I would say single peaked and symmetrical in this case. Okay, calculate the mean for this data. So I know I have 14 numbers, so I'm going to divide it by 14. I have to add all my numbers together. Okay. So for that, use calculator. Okay. I usually add my numbers up twice to make sure that I have the correct number and that I'm doing it correctly. So I'm going to start by clearing it out. I have 18 plus 8.7 plus 5.6 plus 1.9 plus 8.7 plus 14 plus 9 plus 9.2 plus 0.01 plus 2 plus 22 and a half plus 11 and 9/10 plus 6 plus 18 and 3/10. I made a mistake somewhere because it shouldn't be that low. So I have to re-add it. I made a mistake. So I have 18 plus 8 and 7/10, 5 and 6/10, 1 and 9/10, 8 and 7/10, 14, 9, 9 and 2/10, 0 and 100th, 2, 22 and a half, 11 and 9/10, 6, 18 and 3/10, 135, 81/100ths. Again, I do this twice to make sure I get the same number both times. Obviously, the first time I messed up. So I do this again. I have 18 plus 8 and 7/10 plus 5 and 6/10 plus 1 and 9/10 plus 8 and 7/10 plus 14 plus 9 plus 9 and 2/10 plus 100th plus 2 plus 22 and a half plus 11 and 9/10 plus 6 plus 18 and 3/10, 135 and 81/100ths. Okay, so now that I have the right number, for part D, I'm calculating the mean. It's 135 and 81/10 divided by 14. Divided by 14. I have this number. Now, I want you to round to the nearest 10th. Okay, so if I have 9 and 7, I only have to write down to the 100th place value. I look at the 0, I say, okay, the 7 stays the same. It's 9 and 7/10 liters per person. That's my average. Okay. Once I have that, for part E, I have to measure the spread or the variability of the data by finding the mean absolute deviation. Okay, I have one of the steps already done for that. Now what I do is I have to take each data point and subtract 9 and 7/10 from it. So 18 minus 9 and 7/10. So I'm going to do that here. So I have 18 minus 9 and 7/10. It's 8 and 3/10. It's already a positive number, but I want to take the absolute value of that. So 8 and 7/10 minus 9 and 7/10. I'm going to get -1. The absolute value of -1 is 1. 5 and 6/10 minus 9 and 7/10. -4 and 1/10. The absolute value is 4 and 1/10. And I'm going to keep on going. And again, this column that I'm making here is the absolute value of the difference between the two. It's really important that it's the absolute value, otherwise this won't work. 9 and 2/10 minus 9 and 7/10 is -5/10. 6 minus 9 and 7/10 is 3 and 7/10, the absolute value. And 18 and 3/10 minus 9 and 7/10 is 8 and 6/10. Okay. Now I have all of these values. I add them all up again. Okay. So I have 8 and 3/10 plus 1 plus 4 and 1/10 plus 7 and 8/10 plus 1 plus 4 and 3/10 plus 7/10 plus 5/10 plus 9 and 69/100 plus 7 and 7/10 plus 12 and 8/10 plus 2 and 2/10 plus 3 and 7/10 plus 8 and 6/10. Get 72 and 39/100. Okay. I'm going to do that one more time. I do get the same answer, so then I know that I'm correct. I take the sum, I divide by the number of numbers. I should get 5 and 17/100. I'm going to round to the hundredths place value in this case. Okay. I could round to the tenths like I did with the other one, but this works just as easy for me. So, for problem F, incomplete sentences completely describe the distribution. You've already done this in parts A, B, C, D, and E. All we have to do is put it into words. So, for example, the mean is a good choice for the center. The reason is because it is symmetric. Okay? The mean is 9 and 7/10 liters per person. The data is single peaked and symmetrical. The mean deviation, the absolute mean deviation, is 5 and 17/100 liters per person. Japan is an outlier. Okay. Now, I do know that we have an outlier. It is Japan. What's happening, why mean is okay in this case is because my data is actually symmetrical. That outlier doesn't show up in my graph, which means that it's not affecting my data too negatively. Okay. I can also look here at my mean absolute deviation. It's 5 and 17/100. That's the variability, how far apart my numbers are from each other or from the center. Okay. That's a pretty small measure. So it's saying if my measure is 9.7, the farthest away on either side is 5 and 1700ths. Okay, so really, it's a pretty small spread. Okay, on the back, solve each of the following equations, show your work. 5f equals 15, well, f equals 15 divided by 3, so f equals 5. C, 1 6/10 times y equals 9. Well, y equals 9 divided by 1 6/10. 9 divided by 1 6/10. So y equals 5 and 625 thousandths. 3/4 w equals 6. Well, w equals 6 divided by 3/4. 6 divided by 3/4 is the same thing as 6 times 4 over 3. 6 times 4 is 24 divided by 3. W equals 8. P divided by 3 equals 81. So I could rewrite this. So P equals 81 times 3. 81 times 3, 3 times 1 is 3, 8 times 3 is 24. P is 243. Okay. Number 92, a square has an area of 81 square inches. What is its perimeter? I like to draw pictures. My area is 81 inches squared. It is a square, so sides are the same. 81, what times what is 81? Well, it's 9 times 9. The perimeter is 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. 9 times 4, 36 inches. Okay, problem number 93. Calculate each of the following quotients without a calculator. Show your work. Okay. 7 1/4 divided by 3/8. So I have to change it to an improper fraction. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 1 is 29. Keep, change, flip. 29 times 8. 232 divided by 12. 12 goes into 232 19 times. 19. And I will have 4 out of 12 remaining. Okay, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So it's 19 and 1/3. Okay, if I'm going to keep it as an improper fraction, it could be 58 over 3. Okay, 9 and 82 hundredths divided by 0 and 2/10. Move my decimal. 2 goes into 9 4 times. 1 left over. Bring down my 8. Goes in 9 times. Drop my 2. Equals 49 and 1/10. Part C. Again, I'm going to be using improper fractions. So 9 times 10 is 90 plus 9 is 99. Keep, change. 4 times 5 is 20 plus 4, so it's 24 fifths. So it's 5 over 24. 10 times 24 is 240. 99 times 5 is 495. 240 goes into 295 or 495 two times, which is 480. When I take that away from my 495, I get 15 left over out of 240. I'm going to check to see if 15 goes into 240. It does. So if I simplify it, it is 2 and 1/16. Okay, problem 94. Victor and Hugo were shooting baskets. Hugo made 6 out of his 10 shots. Victor made 10 out of his 15 shots. Write each boy's shots as ratio of shots made to shots missed. Okay. I'm going to write down each boy's name, and I like to write down what exactly I'm comparing. So I'm doing shots made to shots missed. So Victor, Hugo's listed first. We'll do Hugo's first. Hugo made 6 out of 10 shots, which meant that he missed 4. So it's 6-4. Victor made 10 out of 15 shots, so he missed 5. Okay, part B, who is the better shooter? Well, I take Victor and I take Hugo. Victor made 10 out of 15 of his shots. Hugo made 6 out of 10. You need to find a common denominator between the two. The least common multiple of 10 and 15 is going to be 30. So 10 times 3 is 30, 6 times 3 is 18, 15 times 2 is 20, 10 times 2 is 20. Victor is the better shooter. $20 out of 30 is greater than 18 out of 30. If you have any questions, make sure you reach out.